Conversations, Kai Center. 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 Kai sentence. Conversations. 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 Kai sentence.
Some lovely guests who will speak to these issues and enlighten us on the topic War in the Bedroom, Healthy Sex Life in Marriage. I'd like to welcome you all. Feel free to join us, subscribe, share, and let's have a good time here on today's podcast as well. So first and foremost, permit me to introduce our lovely guests. We have Mr. Michael Yemo here with us. He's an assistant superintendent police officer. He holds a bachelor's degree in technology in pharmaceutical science, a postgraduate diploma in security studies, and a Master of Arts in Pastoral Care and Counseling from Trinity Theological Seminary. He is the president and co-founder of Preserving the Future Today, a non-governmental organization focused on youth education, development, and empowerment. As a youth counselor, he has authored best-selling books, including Date Right, Marry Right, and Sex Before Marriage. Mr. Michael Yemo is married to Louisa and has 3 children, Michael Jr., Anne-Marie, and Jan Melissa. Mr. Michael Yemo, welcome to the ResHour podcast. We are happy to have you.
I'm also happy to be here.
Again, we have a seasoned nurse and midwife who has practiced for about 26 years. She's a certified counselor, currently with the Bawi Health Center as the nurse manager and maternity in charge. She's the CEO of Dedinalo Ventures, dealers in detergents and cosmetics, and she has been married for 21 years with 3 kids. Ladies and gentlemen, join me welcome Mrs. Judy Norte to today's ResHour podcast. Auntie Judy, you're very welcome. Cherished viewers, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the issues.
Conversations, Kai Center.
All right, welcome once again, Mr. Michael Yemo and Mrs. Judy Norte. We are pleased to have you on ResHour podcast, where we discuss lifestyle, health, and other issues pertaining to our well-being as individuals. So today we are talking about war in the bedroom, healthy sex life in marriage. I would like us to start from this point. In Ghanaian society, sex is considered a taboo. As counselors, would you say that couples are ready or trained or prepared to handle sex within the context of marriage? Seeing that all through our years, we have some fear. Parents don't even talk to us about sex. It's considered a sacred or off-the-limits topic. What are your views on this? If you could kindly share with us.
Ladies first.
Okay. We normally don't talk about sex because we see it as something that is irrelevant. But in marriage, sex is very, very crucial. When I saw the topic, war in the bedroom, I asked myself, why should this be a war in the bedroom? But it can be war. Yes, because we have Cold War. Not all war that we kill people, but there is a war that we are killing the heart. Because what the heart goes through when the person is being denied of sex is a whole lot. As I speak from the health background, it causes a lot of harm to the system. So it is really war. At times, we don't see it so important to discuss it during our premarital counseling because we think we already know, which is a very big mistake some of the counselors we are making. And I think with this program, it has to have a change of mind in some of the counselors' behavior. It is very, very important. We need to talk about it. We need to discuss it even in our fellowship. Because if the person is having issues in the house, war in the house, how do you expect the person to come to church smile? No, it will not be possible. It affects the work. It affects the children in the home. It affects a lot of relationships outside the marriage. So we need to talk about it. I see it very, very important that we need to discuss and then talk about it.
Thank you very much, Auntie Judy. Mr. Emo, could you kindly share your views?
To add up to what my sister just said, for society, sex is considered a taboo because society regards it as a private matters between married people. So something that is private should not be discussed outside for people to hear, especially so that children will also hear, because the notion is that if children get to hear issues about sex, you are going to spoil them. That is the whole thing. So it's private. So since it's private, we don't discuss that matter, and therefore, even if the young adults are due for marriage, they should get in it and discover it for themselves. Nobody will talk about it, and thereafter, it had subsequent effect on the married couple. Then, when it comes to Christianity, Christians don't see it as private; they see it as an unholy thing. The church's posture towards sex is sin. So because it's sin, the church don't want to talk about it. People think that the church has demonized the whole sex experience between the sex in whole. And therefore, because the church does not talk about it, address it, it leads many couples, young couples, getting married, not really being prepared in that aspect. And the church assumes that when they get married, they will know about it. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. They get married just like, so the kind of error that society, our traditional society or culturally have committed, the same thing the church is also committing. And because of that, the young adults are not prepared for marriage in the area of sex. And that has always been a big problem and challenge, just like my sister just said.
All right. Viewers, you can send us your views, your comments. You can talk to us as well. If you have any questions, feel free to forward them. We'll read them and ask our esteemed guests to weigh in on the subjects. All right. So following on from that, Mr. Yemo and Auntie Judy, I think that, as you've rightly stated, sex is considered a taboo, and even within religious settings or in the church, is considered unholy. So then, how do we prepare Christian ladies or gentlemen or people in general? Because our parents are not going to talk to us about sex. We are not getting sex education in church. And during counseling, as Auntie Judy mentioned, premarital counseling, no one touches on the subject of sex. So how then do we prepare for sex in marriage?
Okay. I think we can inculcate it as part of our programs in the groups. Like the youth, YPG can have a program of that sort. But the most amazing thing is, at times when you draw the attention of the human mind to such things, it creates a lot of issues. Because some, immediately they hear it, they want to practice. And if they are not married, it's going to create a whole lot of issues. Because before you enter into such, let me say, such activity, you must be prepared. You know the end product of it. So before you enter, you must know the end product. So I think if we inculcate it in such programs, it will help. But we must know our limits. We must know our limits. Currently, I do this counseling in my office. At times, I bring the couples to the house, and I realize during their premarital counseling, they didn't talk about it. And it's creating a lot of challenges. And at times, I look at the person's behavior at work. I can engage the person. And before you realize, diving into it, you realize there's a problem in the house. Pick the husband's number, try to call, engage them, and then you realize there is a very huge ditch in the marriage as concerned to this sexual life. And when you ask them, it's like, we don't know anything about it. All that we know is we are married and we need to do it. So what you need to consider before doing such thing, they don't have that idea. So I think we need to inculcate it in our programs at church. I think with YAF, majority is married. So it should be part of our programs. And women fellowship and men's fellowship shouldn't think that they are over the age. No, every age and age style of a relationship that needs to come in. So we all need education, sex education, in all the generational groups as well.
Thank you very much, Auntie Judy, for that. We have a comment from Mavis Oredwa, and she says it's another episode. Please send my regards to Auntie Judy. So, Auntie Judy, you have greetings from Mavis Oredwa. Mavis, thank you for sending in that comment. Mr. Yemo, so we know sex was designed by God for the context of marriage to build intimacy and to also foster the companionship that the couples have. But before we get to the subject of sex, I think intimacy comes along in various levels. There's intellectual intimacy, there's social intimacy, there's spiritual intimacy, and I think what tops it all is sexual intimacy. But we find that within marriages, people just jump along all the way into sexual intimacy. Could we say that is one of the reasons that causes war in our bedrooms? And if so, what can we do to curtail these wars in the bedrooms?
Yeah, so like you just said, God designed sex in marriage to foster bonding and a healthy life for the couples. However, society has a way of changing things or mind things that God have designed that is good. And like we said earlier on, there's rise of lack of sex education, just like my sister said, in the church. And therefore, if there's lack of sex education, what will happen is that young adults growing up, they are going to what? Experiment. Because look, nobody's teaching me about sex. Let me experiment to know more about it. And when you go to the social media and even unbelievers, they always advocate that people should experiment with sex in order to prepare them for their marriage. Meanwhile, in the Christian context, that is not it. No amount of experimenting with sex will help you build a good sexual life in marriage. What can help a couple or a young Christians couple build a good sexual life is to go by the principles of God's word. What God's word teaches about sexual life in marriage. So when they are able to receive that kind of education and training, and they are blessed with that truth, the probability of they having a great sexual life in their marriage is high. But the sex education is very key. According to one research, youth that were engaged in sexual education, they had the tendency of not entering into premarital sex than those who were not exposed to sexual education. So you can see the whole balance. That the more people are exposed to the right knowledge. Sometimes when you say sexual education, it's about the right information. We have a lot of information going on. But when it comes to we Christians, our source of information is the Word of God. So when the church, we are able to give that kind of information to the Christian couple, especially during their courtship preparation, it prepares them psychologically, emotionally, to know what sex is. So that some of them, it will even diffuse the way they've demonized sex in their mind. So that they will say that, oh, it's for our own good that God have what? Prepared sex for we, the married couples, to enjoy, and not something that we rather fight over.
Those are very great and valid points from Mr. Yemo. We are very grateful for those. We have comments from Sly Wincott Alute, who says we are live. And we also have Mr. Roland Comey saying that he loves the program. Keep your comments coming in. We'll be reading them. We'll be taking your questions as well as time goes on. So, yes, in this vein, I would like us to talk about what is healthy sex, because there's the war in the bedroom and there's healthy sex. So could you enlighten us on what healthy sex is? Auntie Judy, since you are from the health background, I would like you to take that.
Okay, thank you. When you talk about healthy sex, one, there must be a mutual consent. And then there must be safety. When we talk about mutual consent, we have agreed that this is what we are going to do. It shouldn't be one person's decision. No. We all need to come together, to come to a consensus that we have agreed to enjoy ourselves. And then it has to come with safety. Safety in the sense that I'm in my ovulation period. You are not ready for any pregnancy. And then you tell me we need to do something. Then it means it comes with other consequences. Either you protect yourself or you do it, and then when the consequences come, we all bear. That is for married couples, please. And on married couples, I don't think it is the best. We don't have to even bring sex into it. Let me say, currently in Ghana, we are practicing cohabitation more than the legal marriage, which, let me tell the viewers that it is not right. It is not right. You can have your legal marriage that you not spend much. Let me put that aside because it is swaying us from whatever we are discussing now. We are talking about what we mean by healthy sex. We have our mutual consent. We have our safety. Then there must be open communication. Oh, okay. This time around when you are coming, I want it to go this way. Because the other time, the way you went about it, I wasn't happy with it. So that you enjoy, I also enjoy. But it shouldn't be a 90 and then a 10% affair. No, with that one, there will be war. Because one person will not agree. And it will not be a healthy sex. And with that one too, there will be trauma. Because that person will also not be ready for you. And if you don't take care, there will be itches and all that, which can create a whole lot of problem. And then there shouldn't be any fear or pain. When the other is entering, there shouldn't be any fear because the process has begun and it has to end. But when the process began and then the process itself, it is not in line with that one, it will not bring about any healthy sex. You must start with a very harmonious atmosphere and then end as such. But it shouldn't be like after that, then this person will say, oh, what did you do? You didn't do anything. You've rather hurt me. This doesn't become a healthy sex. So with all this in consideration, I will term it as a healthy sex. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You mentioned mutual consent.
Yes.
So, Mr. Emo, let me ask you this. If there's no mutual consent, because we feel that once I've paid your bride price, I've married you, you belong to me, you are my slave. Anytime I feel like having sex, you should be available for me to have sex. Is that right? And in that vein, if there's no mutual consent, could it be considered as marital rape? Because you are in the police service and you are coming from that end, I would like you to tackle this question.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So to add on to what Ms. Judith said, mutual consent is very important. And you know, the mutual consent doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts from the courtship time when the preparation for marriage is. When you are exposed to the right knowledge of sex, that mutual consent starts. That sex is part of the marriage. And it's like food. Some married couples say that sex is like eating. Just like you get hungry and you eat. The same way sex, too, you have to satisfy your body and enjoy the gift of marriage through sex. So when you have that kind of knowledge, education, and it enforced in your mind, when you get married, it's not like your spouse have to come and plead with you, beg you, crow you, do a whole lot of things, buy flowers before. No, that consent has already been established before you got married. And I know some couples, they've married almost close to 20 years. The husband said there's not been a single day he has approached the wife for sex and the wife has refused. Why? Because that sex education started from the very beginning. Through the courtship, they made them understand. So the wife knew. So it's not going to be like any form of excuse. We make things difficult when we try to legalize things, mutual consent. I have to consent to it. I have to permit you. If not, with a whole lot of things. But if you understand that sex is part of the marriage, it's something that God has given us to enjoy it. So it's not like a duty. The moment it becomes burdensome when people see it as a duty to perform. But when it's a pleasure to enjoy, now it makes it easy. The atmosphere is easy. When the husband needs it, he knows to communicate how to tap the wife. The wife will know that, yes, it's time for the game. If the wife too need it, you know what the language or the words to use. So there's nothing that is going to make it so rigid for them. No, it's part of the married life. It's part of the married life that they have to enjoy.
I think to add what he said, I worked in a community where before any sexual intercourse, there must be beating. Wow. That is their mutual consent. When the man beats the woman is okay with that. And with that one, they enjoy themselves. Initially, when I heard of that, it was like a new thing to me. So I tried investigating, and I realized that has been the norm. That has been their culture. So yes, it's not like, oh, the two of us, we are just using non-verbal languages. No, but for them, the man will beat the woman, and the woman will cry. After crying, then the game starts, and they are okay with each other. And it's in this Accra, here in Accra. Wow. It's not far from us. It's within our community. So it's something that they also call mutual consent.
Oh, wow. What an interesting form of consent, if you ask me. We have a comment from Jemima Komish. She says, keep it up. A very good program for the youth. Thank you, Jemima, for watching us. We also have a question from Mavis Oredua. She's talking about, is it good for couples to discuss sex, the sex they've just had, after they have it? Is it a good practice?
Very, very important. Very, very important. We need to assess ourselves each and every time. So where we fell short, we try to make amendments. So when there is dialogue, that is the communication I brought in. When there is dialogue, it helps the relationship to grow and grow very fast. And people outside will just imagine what is really going on. When there is communication, you are able to do a lot of things. So maybe we just finished having sex. Oh, Daddy, I think this time, dear, you did so well. Oh. But I think you should have done it this way. Oh. Next time, let's go by this way and see. You've rectified a problem. And the next time, you realize that person will change the act. And it's going to create some harmonious relationship for both of you.
All right. So it's very interesting that people have to be beaten before they consent to sex and all that. I think this is a very interesting conversation. We are having a good time here on ResHour podcast, where we discuss lifestyle, we discuss health, social well-being, and we're discussing a very important issue today. We're discussing war in the bedroom, healthy sex life in marriage. At this point, we'd like to take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll go deeper into our conversation. Stay with us and don't miss out on this conversation.
Kai Center. Conversations, Kai Center. Center.
Regard to sex in marriage. That's why they try to put up a whole lot of defense. Yes, sometimes certain activities or certain situations that may pop up in our life may not put us in the position to yearn for sex. However, we must know the priority that our relationship with our spouse plays over every other personal feelings and things that it can lead to, especially when couples don't have healthy and enjoyable sex. It may lead to many other things or challenges in the marriage. So, for us as married couples, let's come for Christian Center. We shouldn't, okay, if I'm not going to give my spouse sex and he or she try to coerce or force me, then it means that he has raped me. I have to. And who is even going to report? The husband, the wife will not even go. Who are you going to the police station? And who are you going to report to the police officer that my husband has raped me? The police are you just going? No, because of how society even sees sex, a lot of sexual issues we can't even take them out. People keep them private to themselves and try to handle. But the most important thing is people getting the right understanding of sex. That is it. Because you are married to your spouse, and for weeks, months, you are not satisfying each other. And the person, look, if the person finds himself to be a Christian, I can't go out. So the person will jump himself or herself on you and try. So that person is trying, I'm taking what is legally mine, and you are denying me. Are you getting it? So that is what is influencing the person to do that. So with that one, you are saying that marital rape without consent. Yeah, we try to, for me, you try to justify a lot of things legally, but we have to know that are we also doing the right thing? That marriage has to be done.
All right. So I like the point about mutual consent and whatnot. So, Mr. M, why are you saying that there's nothing like marital rape in Ghana? There's no law on marital rape.
Okay, if I will be honest, I'm not really privy to that. So I don't want to also say that there is, meanwhile there is not, or say that there is not, and yes, to be honest, I don't really have much knowledge about that to talk about. But what I will encourage married couples is that diffuse your mind from this. Do what is right. Just as the Bible made us understand, 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Now what? That look, your body belongs to each other. If you understand that your body belongs to each other as married couples, this will not be a big challenge, because rape is taking something that is not yours illegally. But this one, it is his or hers, and you have to both share it. So it is that the consent, and the consent, like I said, it must start from the beginning, during the counseling time, that you understand that as you are getting married, your body does not belong to you, because that is what the scripture says. You are now joined together. So you must satisfy each other sexually, just as God's word command or demand.
All right. We have a comment from Antoinette Comey, a question. She wants to find out, is sex during fasting allowed, or is it a good thing? Auntie Judy, please, would you like to take that for us? Share your views on that. Sex during the period of fasting.
Okay. What I know is, as marriage couples, there's no timeline for sex. It can happen anytime and then a convenient place. So during fasting, if only you can stand it, I don't think there's a problem with it. Also, it depends on the fasting, that the type of fasting that you have engaged yourself into. Some are just taking water throughout the 40 days. With that one, you may not have that energy to do it. Because during sexual intercourse, looking at the physiology, a lot of things goes into play. That is why some comes out and they say they have been raped. I witnessed a case in Volta region when a woman was rushed to the gynae ward, bleeding, and she was having tears in the vaginal walls. So we tried to probe what's really happening. He came with a man who claims he's the husband, and it was like they already have quarrels since morning because of something that she requested and then the man refused to give. So during the day, for her, she knows that she has fights with the man. So there is no way the man will come to her and request for such a thing. Unfortunately for her, then the man jumped on her, and it creates a lot of bruises and then tears that we need to suture for the woman. All that I want to say is, looking at what one goes into during stress, we have something in the brain that we have the pituitary glands over there that secretes certain things into the system whenever that person is annoyed. And we call it adrenocorticotrophin hormone.
Wow.
It's being secreted into the system. And then when it goes, it also releases something that we call the cortisol hormone, which also have a role to play. And then after that, like you seeing a snake here, all these things will come in. We have another one that is called norepinephrine that comes into play. That says, hey, no, you can handle this situation. Don't take it far. You can handle this situation. So it's like a mechanism that is acting. At that particular time, the decision that you take really counts. Fine, you are fasting. You think you can merge the fasting together with this. But I think if you don't take care, you may collapse on the way.
Auntie
And
Judy.
it's not healthy at all.
Yes, please, the name of what is secreted,
Corticotrophin hormone.
adrenocorticotrophin hormone.
Yeah.
Adrenocorticotrophin.
Yes.
So viewers, if you want to research on adrenocorticotrophin hormone, feel free to do that. So Auntie Judy has talked to us about physiology and all the things that goes into it. That means that before we have sex, we must be mentally, physically, in fact, we must be prepared in all areas. We just don't get up. That's why I think Mr. Yemo mentioned the consent must come way before the marriage. And I think it's a good point to note. So for the singles like myself, I think we should start preparing as we look towards, walking towards marriage. Auntie Judy, I'll come to you again and then to Mr. Yemo as well. As counselors, what kind of sexual health complaints have come to your attention? Could you highlight a few of these, the things that constitute the war that we are talking about? Could you share some with us? Because maybe some of our viewers are currently in those situations, and maybe some remedies that they can use to curb these instances.
Okay, I've had instances where a lady called complaining about issues that she's having with the husband. She complained, almost 1,000 complaints. So I said, okay, I know the husband, so I'll also contact the husband, then we'll also see what it is. So I was able to contact the husband. we sat down and we had a talk. And you can see the genesis of the whole issues in the marriage was sex. The husband said, can you imagine? The whole of last year, we had sex just twice. And these are married couples who are even within their 5th year. He said, just twice. And now, what do you expect from me? He said, anytime want to have sex with my wife, I have to beg, I have to fight, I have to talk. And now it's over. I'll not do that again. So, and sex is, it's like a miracle, it's a magic in marriage. God did not design sex for married couples just for the sake of it, but it has some kind of influence that it exerts in creating harmony and peace in the marriage. So most married couples, when you try to investigate their challenges and the issues that they are having, the underlying is that their sex life is having a problem. They are not having a good sex life, or they are not enjoying their sex life, or they are having issues with their sex life. And the thing is that when they come, they will not complain. Nobody will come and tell you about their sex life. No. They will mention so many problems and things. He doesn't respect, he doesn't cook, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do. But when you try to deep in, you see that the sex life is the main problem. And the moment the sex life is not well, every other thing becomes a problem. Because when the wife is not sexually satisfied, anything the husband does, it irritates her. If the husband is not getting the sex that he needs, he's always angry. He comes home, he sees the wife is angry. Anything the wife does, it doesn't satisfy him. So you see that there's going to be problem every now and then because the underlying issue, which is the sex. So the challenges in most marriage, some of the couples that have come across, is all built around the issues of their sex life, which is not going on well. And they will never come straightforward, come and tell you that this is the issue, our sex life. No. But when you dig deeper, you find out that the sex life is the problem. And that is constituting the other challenges and the other problem. But it's very good that it's addressed. And when couples are able to have that kind of comprehensive understanding in their sex life and you begin to enjoy, it will start to affect other parts of their marital life, and it's going to strengthen it.
Okay, so Mr. Emo has clearly emphasized that sex is a miracle. It's like the magic in every marriage. So for those of you who have a very bad sex life, married couples, not the singles, let's try as much as possible to fix it. Let's talk about it. Let's see a counselor. Let's talk and discuss it. Viewers, you are with us here on ResHour podcast, where we are discussing war in the bedroom, healthy sex life in marriage. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Auntie Judy will give us some juice on sexual complaints. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Kai Center. Conversations, Kai Center. Conversations, Kai Center. Consultations, Christ Center.
Okay, so we're back here. We're discussing war in the bedroom, healthy sex life in marriage. I'm here with our esteemed guest, Mr. Michael Yemo, who is a certified counselor and police officer. And we have Auntie Judy as well, Mrs. Judy Norte, who is also a health professional and a certified counselor as well. Auntie Judy, just before we went on the break, we're talking about sexual complaints that have come to your attention. But I want you to look at it from the health perspective in terms of erectile dysfunction, postpartum depression, and the likes of those. Could you kindly speak to us on that?
Yeah, at times some of the challenges may be due to health challenges. We have the sexual dysfunctioning. We have painful sex. We have postnatal depression, as you said. We have fear. We have trauma. Post-trauma. There are a lot, at times due to medication. Certain medications can make the man or the woman not functioning well. And then it can also decrease the libido. And it can create a lot of challenges. Looking at post-traumatic pain, casting your mind to what I said, the woman who had the tears during the sexual intercourse, this woman will have some kind of fear in her. So in case the husband wants to come again another time, it's going to create a lot of challenges. And there will be war. Because as for the man, so far as he's up, he just wants to enter and then vomit. And that is the end. At times, when, let me use the word, excuse to say, the men, please, don't come after me. At times when they get to that state, they don't think of any other thing else. Whether the woman is having this postnatal depression, whether the woman is going through any stress or any stresses available, for that one, no. All that he knows it. At that time, he needs to come out and be free. So I always talk to the ladies, just get some gel close to you. In case it happens that way, you just apply the gel, then you receive him. After that, you can talk whatever you want to talk over with him, which can also cool down tempers. And then the medication, especially those on the BP medication. For me, if you come back and you complain of that, immediately I'll speak to whether the physician or whoever took care of you, we need to change it. Because we have other medications that you can take as well. You cannot use the medication to collapse someone's house. No, it can't be possible. So there must be a change. So I always encourage men that if you have that challenge, come. That has been my talk for the day, always at work. And my people do say, hey, counselor Nabao. Yes, because it is my worry. It is the challenges that men are really going through. And at times when the men are having medical condition like high blood pressure and then this diabetes mellitus, at times they can't function well. But there are other ways and means that we can handle you for you to function well. So if you have such challenge, kindly speak to your health provider. There is definitely a way out. Definitely a way out. If your wives keep on complaining, hey, the way you are going about things, please kindly have a second look at it too. It is a word of caution to you. Your wife is not warning you, but your wife wants the best for the house or for the home. So you just have to comply with it and then see how best you can solve this issue. If it's medication, as I said, it can be swabbed and then things will move on well. Post-traumatic stress, the person goes under psychological therapy, which the person sees either the clinical, the psychologists or the mental health nurses. They have a way they go about it. For me, because I know I'm a counselor and I have such issues, I've specialized in those areas. I go all out. So when you come, I know what to tell you and things will be calm. So please, try and go to the nearest health facility you have, Go to the mental health department and then speak to them about your issues, because sex is very crucial. It's very, very important. As I said, the men, when they are up, they don't care wherever they are. They don't care whatever situation is going on. For them, they just want to release and be free. So find ways and means to calm all these things. And then you can get this KY gel. It is not expensive. It's at the pharmacy shop. Or you can get a Vaseline. But that Vaseline will be specially used for that. It's not the type of Vaseline that anybody who wants pomade will just go and dip their hands in and use. No, because you need to combat infection as well. So you need to get a special one for that, which you know where you keep it. I know of a woman who says she has a bag for sexual life. So in that bag, the towel for the man to clean up himself is in, the KY gel is in, the Vaseline is in, and all other things she thinks she needs. She has that bag set. We can also cultivate that habit, have it close to our bedside. In case such a thing happens, you apply your KY gel, and then you move on. And I bet you, when you give it to him, whatever you want that he didn't give to you, that particular material moment, he will provide for you. Wherever he's going to conjoin it from, he will provide. If you like, let's put it into test and see.
Okay, so Auntie Judy is giving us some sound advice. Get your KY gel, get your sex kits very close to your bedside, and make sure that you are giving your husband the best. You are giving your wife the best as well, because it's mutual and it should be reciprocated, so that you can have a great marriage, because a lasting marriage as well is built on good sexual habits. So let's take note of that, married couples and singles, as we prepare towards the journey of marriage. Let's also take that into consideration. We have a comment from Charles Lamptey on Facebook. He says, very educative topic. Good evening, Auntie Judy Korte. And then we have two questions that's just before we wrap up. There's the issue of men who love sex, and there's so much to this topic. But don't worry, we'll have part 2 of War in the Bedroom, Healthy Sex Life in Marriage. So our viewers, if you have anything at all, just prepare for when we next sit here to discuss War in the Bedroom. But just before we wrap up, let's talk about fear in sex. Mr. Yemo, could you talk about what causes fear when it comes to sex, and then what healthy sex position someone could... So I'll leave that to Auntie Judy. Auntie Judy, what's healthy sex position for people who want to conceive? What's the best sex position? That's coming from Mavis Oredo. And Mr. Yemo, if you can speak to the issues on sex and fear.
Yeah, so
Yes.
like my sister said, some experiences that people had in their sexual life normally generate fear. You know, people who had experienced rape also have that kind of fear. And it's good that during courtship or during counseling, these issues come up. Because if you have that kind of fear and you don't disclose it for you to be counseled and that issue to be dealt with, you will take it into marriage. So there are a lot of couples, let's say many women in marriage who have those kind of fears. And because of that, they deny their husband sex, not because they just want to deny them, but because of previous experiences they've had. They are having some kind of fear to sex, which have not been addressed, and they have also not disclosed it to their spouse, and they've not also talked about it. So that is real. How it can be handled or solved is that the person who have that fear for sex have to see a counselor, just like my sister said, so that he or she will be taken through the process so that they can come out from that. Because if that is not addressed, there's nothing that can be done. And it's not magic. And you shouldn't also use that fear that you have to come and deny the sexual enjoyment that your spouse need to have in the marital life. So if you have that kind of challenge, the most important thing for you to do now is to see a counselor who is going to help you so that you come out from it. That is the best solution to it. But to use that as an excuse and be denying your spouse sex, that means that you are just going to destroy your marriage. With time, you see that your marriage is just off.
Auntie Judy, please, on the issue of sex styles, healthy styles for people who want to conceive, is there anything like that?
Let me say, there is no style in particular if you want to conceive, unless the anatomy of your reproductive organ has a challenge. With that one, we have styles that you need to use. When I say the anatomy, looking at the position of the uterus is supposed to be anteverted. It has to move front and then lay back. But with some, it goes back and then move up this way. So it's retroverted instead of the anteverted. So with that one, we need to give you a position that will help in order to allow the sperms to enter, to fuse the ovum. But aside that, there is no sexual position for that. And moreover, if you don't have any infection like the pelvic inflammatory diseases that can prevent pregnancy, then there is no way we need to give you a particular position to conceive. If you've tried severally and it's not picking up, then you need to see a gynecologist. Maybe there is a problem, as I said. Instead of the anteverted uterus, it is retroverted, which you need to be given a position to use. And I cannot demonstrate here. Maybe when I have my dummy, I can demonstrate it for you to see. Anytime we have our pregnancy school, we demonstrate the sexual positions for them to view. And then when they go home, they practice. And we get the feedback from the husbands, whether it was okay or not. So I will demonstrate it maybe in our next episode. I will demonstrate the position for you to know if maybe you have the retroverted uterus, what you are supposed to do.
Okay, so I like that where we do the practical. So viewers, don't worry, next time on the show, on ResHour podcast, we are going to do the sexual demonstrations because we want you to have healthy sex lives and not have war, because we can't put out fires in your homes. So we'll do that and practicalize it so that we can learn, because most of the time we do not know what to do. We are not trained, we are not prepared, we are ill prepared, and that's what is causing the war and bringing fire to the bedroom. So we'll help you to douse the fire in no time. So stay tuned for the next episode. We'll send out our flyers and share them with your friends as well if this has been beneficial. So for the last question, we have Winston Ankara 2661 on YouTube, and he wants to find out, do you need to be emotionally attached to someone or connected to them during sex? And health-wise, is there any best time for sex? Mr. Yemo.
There's no best time for sex. You can have sex any time of the day. It's just that in this part of our society, we want, because of the secretive and the privateness of sex, we want to always have sex at midnight. And sometimes some people, to midnight sex is not good for them. You are going to wake your spouse up. Wake up, let's do the thing. They do it, he or she is deeply sleeping. So it's not comfortable with that. So, that's why my sister said communication. The couples should be able to have open communication.
Okay.
And sometimes to society, where they are staying, it's in a compound house, and maybe during the day there are people around, and people are so private, they fear that others may hear their activity. So there are so many things that surround the timing, but sex can be had any day, depending on the couples. They must agree that which time do we want to have sex. And I would encourage that when it comes to matters of sex, both couples should open up and speak. There are some that are so reserved, they don't want to speak. They want the other person to speak. But if the person speaks and you don't commit to it, it wouldn't help. So it should be open. Everybody should bring this or a view, suggestion, so that we can go by it. Then we choose what is best for us in regarding to what time do we want to have the sex. And if we want to have sex, what are the communication that we need to have? And like my sister said, gel and it's very important. Preparing for sex is not like coming and having sex. You should be able to have all these kind of materials available, condoms, gel, even Borges oil. If you can't go and buy, just have Borges oil. All these things should be there. So the time that maybe your spouse, your wife, is not in the mood, and you even use that, you will not result in this kind of bruises and a whole lot of things. So we should prepare for sex in either the materials, what we need, and also psychologically preparing ourselves and our partner and our spouse so that we'll all be in the mood. And also, I think that is it for now, which couples have to learn in doing.
All right. Auntie Judy and Mr. Emo, could you last words to our viewers, to our audience? What should we do? What in just about 1 minute, just something brief and simple for our viewers to take along from today's discussion.
Okay. I would just encourage viewers, if you are married, let sex be your priority in the home. If you want a peaceful home, let sex be your priority. And then, in order to prevent injuries and all that, let's limit infection. Make sure we manage infection, treat very well. Get our sex kits available so that we'll be able to handle our men anytime they call us to create a peaceful home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Judy. Mr. Yemu, your last words, please.
Okay, so Ada, I have a friend always complaining about the wife, complaining. So the other time I asked him, when was the last time you had sex with your wife? He can't tell. So for years, you are not what? Having sex with your wife, you are denying your wife sex. And as a result of that, it's leading to a lot of issues in the marriage. So viewers, what I want to advise that do not deny your spouse sex under any circumstance. There's this woman who was always denying her husband sex with excuses. I'm tired and this, and the husband is complaining, so frustrated. One day, the children were discussing with the woman, and I think that they were there with their children, and the children said, Daddy, it's not like you are always tired. It's good, maybe you have to get another wife so that you come in. The children themselves said it. Since then, the wife has changed. The man said, now the wife does not deny him sex again. So all this while using, I'm tired, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired, I'm not in the mood. What has changed? Sometimes it's just that we want to just give excuse, but let us see that, look, like my sister, your sex life is very important. It governs and affects everything. If the sex life is good, the marriage will be good. If the sex life is bad, the marriage will be bad. There's no angel that can save you. There's no amount of prayers that can save a marriage that is dying, that is sexless. Never. God can't do anything about it. You cannot deny your spouses and go and fast and pray, and you want a turnaround marriage. It will not work. And you will see people who do not even pray that much. But if their sex life is good, you'll see that they will be enjoying their marital life. So please, don't deny your spouse sex. Don't deny your spouse sex. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Don't deny your spouse sex. Visit a counselor if you have to. Let's make things work in the bedroom. Not war, but let's put in the work and make sure that everything is on point. Today, on ResHour podcast, we've been speaking to Mr. Michael Yemo, Assistant Superintendent of Police and a certified counselor. We've also been speaking with Mrs. Judy Norty, who is also a nurse midwife and then a certified counselor as well. It's been amazing on the show. We've learned a lot, but that's not all. We're definitely coming back with part 2 of War in the Bedroom, Healthy Sex Life in Marriage. I would like to sign out by acknowledging the technical team. We have Ms. Carissa Nin, we have Mr. Godfred Kisi, we have Mr. Samuel Gajo, we have Mr. Emmanuel Commodore, Mr. Samuel Soa, Mr. Sly Wincott. We also have Mr. Eugene Ankara and our presbyter Solomon Duduato. So ResHour podcast is coming to you live from the Resurrection Congregation, Presbyterian Church of Ghana, adjacent the SIC Life Mall. You can visit us at any time. Come and worship with us. Let's have a great time in the service of God. This is ResHour podcast, where we have Christ-centered conversations and dialogue. My name is Anana Manwankara, and I've been your host. Until the next time we meet, it's bye for now.
Conversations, Christ-centered. Conversations, Christ-centered. Conversations, Christ-centered. Conversations, Christ-centered. Conversations, Christ-centered.